Yes, I'm totally sitting in my car. I'm about to go pick up my kids from school, but I have a little time and I decided to do a little bit of double duty because I've been getting so many emails and PMs from you guys asking about whether my products help with PCOS. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about PCOS because I know there's a lot of information out there in terms of what it is just from a Western medical perspective in terms of increased LH levels and out of balance hormones and potentially cysts on your ovaries, although PCOS, despite the name polycystic ovarian syndrome, doesn't always have cysts on your ovaries. So a lot of women that I'm hearing from are kind of confused about what they could do to help support their PCOS or support their body and their fertility if they have PCOS. So I wanted to give you kind of my perspective of PCOS, which is more of I look at the energetic of what's happening in your body. And yes, I'm aware of what's happening in terms of the Western medicine, in terms of hormone levels, and but since I work with plant medicine and plants kind of work more with your body's energy. So I'll start off by saying what the energy of your body ideally would be like. And to kind of make it understandable, I'm going to try to kind of break it down into a really simple kind of way of looking at it, which is almost like your energy should be moving through your body just like air. If like you think of air on a nice fall day, it's like crisp, it's brisk, it's moving, you feel like that kind of spring in your step. And then depending on where you live, like if we talk about the seasons, like obviously it's different if you live in Arizona versus Maine. But if you think about, a spring day, say in Maine, that might still have that freshness of air, but it almost might feel a little bit like more moisture in the air. So PCOS is like a dampness in your body. So if you think about like, a humid summer day, granted that's bringing heat into the equation too, which is not always the case in PCOS, sometimes it is, but that humidity, that kind of moisture in the air, the best way to describe it is if like you've ever been to London and how there's kind of that like fog, like it's just a fog. So whether it's cool or not, it's just foggy, and that's kind of what PCOS is in your body. And sometimes it does combine with either heat or cold, which gets a little more complicated, and I'm not going to go into that. But it's just almost like instead of your body's energy moving like briskly and quickly, it's kind of like a fog descends, and you might even feel a sense of heaviness. It's like everything just slows down energetically. And that's kind of one of the reasons why you might not ovulate is that your body's ability to kind of like have that burst of energy that you need to ovulate isn't happening. So it's just like a sluggishness. Some women even say they feel this sluggishness. When they really listen to their body, they might feel slow. They almost have that like heavy feeling. They might gain weight. Not necessarily. I have to put sunglasses on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be okay. Wow, like a movie star. So anyway, let me focus. One of the things that is important, really important to treating PCOS is obviously working on your blood sugar. That's why so many women are taking metformin, because often when you have PCOS, your insulin response is like through the roof. And in terms of energy, what I think is happening is that your body's slowness, that kind of sluggishness, is like your brain wants that quick feeling. Your chi wants to move quickly. So you release insulin to kind of get that quick burst of blood sugar, basically. Or to combat that burst of blood sugar. You might crave sweets because that kind of gets your energy moving. But ideally, it's not good to have any sense of sugar or any form of sugar. And while I don't like to recommend really restrictive diets for my patients or my clients, unfortunately with PCOS, that's one of those instances where you kind of do need to be a little restrictive, at least when you're trying to get pregnant. Or at least as long as the PCOS is kind of pretty active in you. So that's why so many women are put on metformin, because it's really important to stabilize your blood sugar. So you might not want to hear this, but I do actually recommend like a super, super low carb diet. And I don't even like saying that because it's like such a fad diet, but it really does work for stabilizing your blood sugar, and kind of reducing the inflammation in your body that can be contributing to a difficulty getting pregnant. So I recommend cutting out, and remember, this isn't forever, this is just for a few months, but cutting out all grains, all like tubers, potatoes, sweet potatoes even, reducing those kind of starchy foods. Some women are okay with some fruit sugars like grapefruit or blueberries, but you need to be careful with it. You really do. So sometimes in the beginning I recommend like just almost do like a ketogenic type diet to see how you do. But most women find that immediately, pretty instantly, they feel a little bit more stabilized, a little bit more managed. So you can look up, there's tons of sources on the ketogenic diet. And again, this is like not something that I'm telling you need to do for the rest of your life, but if you're actively wanting to participate in supporting your reproductive health and you have PCOS, you kind of got to do it. As far as things that are good for PCOS, the liver is the organ in your body that processes that like sludge, that dampness. And again, if you think about like a consolidation of dampness, what is it? It's like a cyst, right? So it's like you have this like thick dampness throughout your body, and then in your uterus, on your ovaries, you know, wherever this kind of accumulates, you get this like thickness of dampness, which can become ovarian cysts. So we need to do things that support the liver in processing through this dampness. So the herbs that I would recommend you taking or using are the herbs that really support this kind of quick moving of energy through the liver, supporting the detoxification of the liver. So I would say dandelion, milk thistle. In my PCOS bundle, I have 2 teas, the detox tea and the fertile moon tea, which both contain those ingredients. The detox is more of like you will do that for 7 to 10 days, really support your liver, and then the fertile moon tea kind of adds in some things that also support uterine support and ovarian support, while still have the dandelion and the milk thistle, which really support continuous, I don't like to use the word detoxification, but like energizing, invigorating of the liver, which is important. So if you're interested in learning about more of my products in my PCOS bundle, there's also womb massage, which I feel is really important for kind of just bringing energy to where the cysts are to kind of break them down. But really, it's important to remember that overall supporting of clearing out this dampness that tends to accumulate in PCOS is crucial. It's really, really important. And that's where, you know, the herbs and also the food comes in. No dairy, no dairy, no dairy. You're not allowed to have dairy. I'm sorry. I know, it's hard. Don't have dairy. It's just, you can't. If you have PCOS and you're eating dairy and you're trying to get pregnant, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it like it is. Ain't gonna happen, sister. So, and like sugar, gluten, I mean, that's all contained within the keto diet, but sugar is gonna fuck you up. So, sorry, I curse a lot, sorry. It's gonna do it. It's not good for you. So, all right, that's it for now. Hope this was informative for you, and I gotta go get my kids. So, bye, see you later.